Hey y'all, I'm going to teach you how to subtract integers. We've been modeling in class, and now I'm going to teach you how to subtract integers without modeling using the rule. Just a reminder, an integer is a positive or negative whole number. We're not dealing with fractions or decimals yet, just positive and negative whole numbers. So when you want to subtract integers, you have to what we call touch twice. There are a couple other names. Some people say double tap, but I just like touch twice. It makes sense to me. So I'm going to share that information with you. To touch twice, you actually physically take your pencil or your pen and you are going to touch your paper 2 times. And then first touch is you're going to change your minus to a plus. You actually are changing the minus sign to a plus sign, and you're totally changing the problem to an addition problem now. We just learned how to add integers. So the reason you are changing the minus to a plus was because that is the definition of subtraction. It's adding the opposite. The opposite meaning step number 2 is you change the second number. When I say opposite, I mean the opposite number as in positive or negative. So if it was a positive, you're going to change the second number to a negative, and if it was a negative, you're going to change it to a positive. After you change the minus to a plus and you touch the second number, then you're going to go back and you're going to use your same sign or your different sign rules that you learned for adding integers. So it's either a same sign problem or a different sign problem. Let me go through 3 examples with you and then let you try to do some on your own. The first example is 3 minus 8. You've always been told you can't take 8 away from 3, and typically you cannot. But now that we're dealing with negatives, I'm going to show you how to take 8 away from 3. It's a subtraction problem, so you're going to touch twice, meaning take your pencil and you're going to change the minus to a plus. And then you're going to touch the second number, so the 8. Right now it's positive, so we're going to change it to a negative. And now I have a problem, 3 plus negative 8. This is a DS problem, which means we're going to subtract. 8 minus 3 is 5. And then the negative 8 overpowers the 3, so my answer is negative 5. And that is an example of a touch it twice problem. Let me show you a couple more. Example 2. Negative 2 minus 5. We have a minus sign, so I have to touch twice. First touch is change the minus to a plus, and the second touch is on the 5. I'm going to change the 5 to a negative 5. Now I have touched it twice. You can see the blue marks. My new problem is negative 2 plus negative 5. That is a same sign problem, so I'm going to add negative 2 plus negative 5, and I get negative 7. The last example I have for you has something a little different. The second number is negative, so let me show you what to do. You still are going to touch twice. Change my minus to a plus, and I'm going to change the second number from negative 6 to a positive 6. Now my problem is negative 10 plus 6. This is a DS problem, so I subtract. 10 minus 6 is 4. And then 10 overpowers, so my answer is a negative 4. Those were 3 quick examples. If you need to, rewatch the examples, hear my explanation, but notice, touch twice, touch twice, touch twice. All right, so you try these 2 on your own. Number 4, 8 minus negative 17. Number 5, negative 2 minus 39. Pause the video if you need to before you're ready to hear my explanation, and then restart it. So number 4, I need to touch twice, so 1, 2. Now I have 8 plus 17, which is just a regular addition problem, and the answer is 25. On number 5, I touch twice. Now I have a negative 2 plus negative 39, which is the same sign problem. I add them, and I get 41. I need to remember to carry down my negative, and my answer is negative 41. I hope you got those right. So real world problem. Let's go over a real world problem. The price of YouTube stock is $35. If you don't know what stock is like parts ownership of a company where you can buy shares of that company. I'm making this up. Stock in YouTube is probably worth way more than $35. Over the past week, the price has dropped $50. So for some reason, YouTube is dropping. What is the price at the end of the week? So we need to get our important information. So the stock is $35 and then it dropped $50. What is the price at the end of the week? Well, we started with $35 and then it dropped. So that means plus minus what? Minus, and it dropped $50. 35 minus 50 is our problem. I'm going to touch twice. Do I have an SS or a DS? I have a DS problem, so that means I subtract. 50 minus 35, you have to borrow. So 15, and is it going to be a positive or a negative? Which one overpowers? The negative 50 overpowers, so it's going to be a negative $15, which means right now the YouTube stock is not worth a whole lot. So people are losing money because it is dropping. So the negative $15 means people are losing money. So you try this real world problem, UT, so you try this real world problem. The temperature outside is negative 2 degrees at 6 p.m. The temperature decreased 11 degrees throughout the night. What is the temperature now? So the temperature was negative 2 degrees at 6 p.m. and then it decreased 11 degrees. What is the temperature now? Pause the video to work this problem and then restart it when you're ready. So it started at negative 2 and then it decreased 11. We cannot subtract it the way it is, so I need to touch twice. I have a same sign problem, so now the answer is negative 13 degrees. Does that make sense that the temperature is actually lower than negative 2? It should make sense. So what normally happens throughout the night? It gets cooler. And so throughout the night, it is decreasing, and so our temperature is actually dropping. So here's a little challenge for you. I want you to create your own subtraction real-world problem. So a real-world subtraction problem. I want you to write in your spiral, and then we will check it tomorrow in our groups. We will go around and we will check each other's homemade problems. So tonight, I want you, after you're watching this video, I want you to create your own real-world subtraction problem.